we're sure. Good evening. My name is David Janey. I'm with Boston University Financial Assistance, and this is Talking Real Money. Thank you for joining us. I'm here tonight with Kathy Hines from Student Accounting Services and with Kevin Lynch from Student Employment. And just off camera is Christina Caviello, who will be helping with your questions that you can type into us as we go along. When we finish our formal presentations, and we'll take as many of your questions as we can. If there's a question that you type in that we're not able to get to because of time limitations, then feel free to shoot us an email, either to Student Accounts or to Student Employment or Financial Assistance. You can catch our email addresses, I think, in the email you were sent, or if not, on our websites, and we'll be happy to answer those for you. Our goal is really to get as many of your questions answered as possible. So the format, we're each going to speak a little bit about our respective areas, and then we'll have some time to take your questions that you can type into us, and as I say, we'll try and get to as many of those as we can. We're trying to tailor our remarks to the kind of issues that our experience has shown us students and families have at this particular point in the process, around orientation time, around when you're either anticipating your bill or you've just received your bill for the fall semester, and give you some sense as to what to expect, what action steps might be expected of you, and what some pitfalls might be, and obviously how to avoid those. The big thing that folks are concerned about at this stage of the game is the bill, the fall semester bill, and that comes from Student Accounting Services. And so without further delay, I'll turn it over to Kathy Hines to talk to you about that piece.
Great, David. Thank you. Hello, everyone. It's nice to be here and be able to give you some information today. And I know I will be seeing many of you also at orientation sessions at the expo that's on Friday morning. So if we can advance. Yeah, you're driving tonight. And one more, please.
Okay.
So first, about your bill. It is online. Students can view the bill at bu.edu/student link, and they can find the bill under the green Money Matters tab. The bill is really a running total of all the tuition and room and dining charges and all of your payments, and if you have financial assistance or loans, you will see that. So you can always view every transaction that has happened with the student. It's online, and students, the you referenced in this sentence, you could give others access. Students can give others access to their bill. So that's my tip number one. And they can do this by selecting Share Link Access. That is a link at the top of their view of the bill. Share Link Access, when they select that, they can then put the email address of the individual they would like to have to share the view with. That person will get an email, and they'll set up their own login and have a portal, be able to log in through the Share Link portal. And my next tip is that the bill is always available once the student registers on the student link a few weeks before the payment due date each semester. In the freshman year, all the freshman bills are already available now today, because freshman year we know people are registering at the orientation session, so we make the bill available. So students can view the bill now on the student link. They can go in, they can give the Share Link access, and we will also be sending billing notification by email around the first week of July. So it would be great for the student to set up their Share Link access now, because Share Link viewers will also get their own email of this billing and all future billings at their email address. So it's very common that we communicate with the student, and then we hear from families that the students are busy or otherwise would like some support in having other people reading these emails and helping them get everything done the way we need. And payment is due, whoops, one back.
One back, okay.
Yeah, one back. Payments due every semester. We set a deadline. This year it's August 6th for fall 19. But again, the first semester, freshman year, we've published that the deadline is August 6th. But if you can't make that deadline, you really need to make sure that the student has their bill resolved before they arrive on campus and want to move into their residence, because settlement of the bill, payment of the bill is required in order to move into the residence. All right, so that's the bill. Now we have payment options. The basic payment option is if you're going to pay the amount due for the first semester, you can do so online by U.S. bank account by selecting Make a Payment from Student Account Inquiry. We also do take paper checks, and those can be mailed in to our street address. Many families have 529 plan disbursements. So those sometimes come by paper check, they sometimes come electronically. Whoever is the 529 plan owner would want to start the process of doing their redemption and whatever your 529 plan requires, so that they can then send the funds out to Boston University by August. We have many international students, and we offer 2 options for international payment. We have partnered with Flywire and also with Western Union Business Solutions. You can link to these 2 vendors from our website at bu.edu/student accounting services. Each of these vendors offers international payment by a variety of sources, meaning if depending on your country or the currency you wish to use, they may offer a bank transfer or some other method, and they will quote you what the exchange rate is that they are offering. So I would suggest you check out both of these vendors to see which may work best for your situation. And the final payment option would be a monthly payment plan. And you can enroll in the monthly payment plan now. Enrollment is open, and you can select payment plan also in Student Account Inquiry, and this will link to Nelnet Campus Commerce, and they are our partner for payment plan, for administering the payment plan. Oh, and I think there is one more payment option, which is loans. And I won't say too much because David, when he speaks about financial aid, will say a little bit about loans. But if you are applying for a loan, most of them will appear on the student bill as a deduction once they have been approved. And finally, what you can do now. So as I mentioned before, we send billing notification to the students' bu.edu email and also to the ShareLink viewers. So to students and viewers, read the bu.edu email regularly, because that's where you'll get information from Student Accounting Services. Students should set up their ShareLink viewers. They can do that just one time in their enrollment now, and they can arrange for the viewer to have access for their full 4 years of enrollment or beyond. There's another access called consent to disclosure. This means that if some other person than the student wants to call and talk about the account and share details about payments, the student needs to give that person consent to disclosure. And they can do this under the pink Personal tab on the student link. So again, ShareLink is to be able to have your own electronic view through a portal. Consent to disclosure allows someone other than the student to call our office and talk about the account. Now is the time to enroll in a payment plan. The payment plan allows you to split what you owe for the fall semester into 5 monthly payments. The payments are May through September. So even though we're in June, you can still enroll now, and actually you can enroll through August 6th. You would just make up whatever installments have passed. So if you enroll today, there's a $35 enrollment fee. You would make the May installment at that same time, and then you'd have a June installment due later in, I believe it's June 25th. These installments are pulled from the bank account that you provide during enrollment. And now is also the time to decide if you're going to be borrowing an education loan, what type of loan would work for you, and to apply for it now so that the process can have time to happen between now and August. And if you're a 529 plan as part of your payment strategy, then now is the time to contact your 529 plan institution and determine what they need from you in terms of to set up the redemption to go to BU. And I believe, yes, that's all my notes, and I'll be looking forward to questions that we'll have questions and answers at the end, and then I'll pass it on to David for the financial aid.
Okay. We'll do a little bit about financial aid and then student employment and then some about financial literacy. So, but financial aid, one of the things we know is that some of you have financial aid awards and others don't. We also know that even for those folks who have financial aid, it's unlikely that there isn't going to be some portion of the cost that you're going to need to be responsible for. So we want to focus our conversation on whichever boat you're in, with aid or without aid, how you strategize around figuring out how to cover the cost of the amount that you're going to be responsible for. So let's see. We focus an awful lot on encouraging folks to have a plan. We direct folks to our website for a lot of resources that are helpful around developing a plan. We have a page that's devoted specifically to planning. We encourage planning not just for one semester or for the first year, but for all 4 years, to develop a strategy that works over the long term. Those plans will typically involve 3 elements: savings, money you've accumulated and set aside for college. There may be some money in your family in that bucket. Kathy mentioned the payment plan, which is kind of a way of using that cash flow tool to budget payments monthly and spread them out rather than the one payment for the semester over 5 payments. And she alluded to loans. We call them credit-based loans because unlike student loans, which are based on the family's financial eligibility, financial need from the FAFSA form, credit-based loans are based on the credit capacity of the borrower. And sometimes the borrower is the student's parent, an undergraduate student's parent, specifically for certain loans, the Federal Plus loan in particular. In other loans, private loans and some state-sponsored loans, the borrower may be the student or the student and the parent. But even in instances where the student is the borrower of record, the loans are really designed to be supported by a creditworthy co-borrower. Usually that's a parent, but with some loans it doesn't necessarily have to be. But that is where the strength of the borrowing and the approval rests. Many loans are what they call tiered. So the stronger the credit capacity of the borrower or co-borrower, then the more attractive terms are going to be offered, interest rates and other terms of borrowing. So it's important to kind of understand how credit-based loans work, and we provide on the website a lot of information about how they work and about how you think through selecting which loan product and which lender might best suit your needs. There's kind of no one size fits all because everyone has different priorities and different needs, and so we fashion our tools on the website to help you identify what your priorities are and then think about how that will impact your shopping for a loan based on what kind of features those particular programs have to offer. So now is the time to certainly be doing that loan shopping if credit-based loans are going to be in the mix of how you're going to cover those costs that are your responsibility to cover. We have a number of particular loan products that are listed on our website through our vendor, Elm Select. So you go to our website, and there's information about PLUS loans on the website, but then for other loans, private credit-based loans and some state loans there, you bounce out to Elm, and it gives you the opportunity to kind of make side-by-side comparisons with these different products and really figure out which one works best for you. We, in financial assistance, are happy to process loans for you, whether those loans are listed on our website or whether they're listed in our Elm Select portal or not. If you see loans from other lenders that may be marketing to you, or there may be a credit union loan, or other kinds of products, we're happy to process those. Just because they may not be listed on our website doesn't necessarily mean they're not excellent products. The ones we list tend to be ones that we have vetted to some extent, but also ones that are available to a broad spectrum of students. So you may have a particularly good deal because it's offered to you from a credit union where you happen to be a member through your employment or other affiliation, or there are loans that come out of certain states that you're eligible for because you reside in that state, and they may be very good products for you to look at. In fact, we do have a list on our website of states that offer credit-based loans to their residents, and so if you want to look there and see what is offered through your home state, and if that's a better deal than other loans that are listed, then we're happy to process those and encourage you to do that research. So we talked about how you secure money to bridge the gap in terms of what you're going to owe the university, whether all of that's covered through financial aid or whether only a part of it is and you're needing to pick up the difference. Other costs associated with going to school going to be are other than those that you're going to be billed directly for. So we'd call walking around money. There are a whole host of things that could involve, and we encourage you to plan for it. And plan is just kind of a smart way of saying budget for it. We have a lot of tools to help and encourage students to put a little something down in writing, even if it's a simple budget. But we do have great templates on our website and on our Smart Money 101 section of the website that helps students figure out how to plan through the semester so that they have an idea in advance how much money they're going to spend for these kinds of things, and that they're able to stick to that budget, or if they need to modify the budget, fine. But we encourage students to do all of that with their eyes open. So that's taking care in how money is spent. Kevin will also talk a little bit about putting a little more money in your pocket through student employment. And it seems like a good segue.
It is. It's a perfect segue. Thank you, David. Hi, I'm Kevin Lynch. I'm from Student Employment Office, and I'm here to talk a little bit about working while you go to school, which I know may seem a little daunting, but I'm going to give you some really great benefits of working in regards to long-term and short-term benefits, including walking around money in America's walking city, Boston. So any student who wants to work can work. Every department on campus hires students to work. And if that's not enough, the city of Boston is at your fingertips. So employees regularly will use our listings to recruit Terrier students for employment. So there's always a wealth of jobs out there. Oh, could you be my driver, David?
Oh,
thank you. Okay.
The magic figure.
Yes, thanks. Here's just some information on information that you can find in regards to student employment. The treasure trove of information is our website, bu.edu/SEO. We also have a Facebook page, which we ask you guys to follow. There's updates there in regards to postings, other job-related information. And then we also have a Twitter account as well. And then obviously you can always give us a call, and you can see the phone number and the email address right there. Good. So first, how do you find a job? Job listings are available, like almost everything else here at BU, on your student link under the Work tab. Quick Jobs, are jobs that are one-time or short-time jobs. We'll kind of talk a little bit about that in a minute. Then we also have what's called part-time jobs, and these jobs are usually listed on our job board listings. These jobs can be located either on or off campus. And then finally, we have what's called work-study jobs. These are available to students who receive work-study money as part of their financial aid package, and these jobs are primarily located on campus. So the job for you. So as you can imagine, like I kind of alluded to earlier, BU is a huge, diverse community, and Boston is the same. You can find a job doing almost anything, both here on campus and within the city of Boston. On campus, most departments hire students, so you can work almost anywhere, in the library, in the dining hall, and the campuses around office, art galleries, fitness and recreation center, laboratories, and there's also a chance to go ahead and be involved in programs that tutor Boston Public High Schools or Boston Public School children. Off-campus jobs, like I said, are available throughout the greater Boston area, and it's possible to find a job related to your career interests. We also have a lot of alumni employers looking specifically for BU students as well. Quick jobs, which I talked about a little while ago, are quote-unquote odd jobs, and they can include anything from yard work to party help to babysitting. Some of our favorite postings over the years have been dressing up as a character for a kid's birthday party, which sounds horrible to me, but some people would enjoy it. Helping set up New England Spring Flower Show has been a cool one. Being a magician's assistant, which I think sounds kind of cool. Making balloon animals for a street fair, helping to build a tree house. And there was one job posting, a quick job posting, where the dad taught his son how to play tennis. The son got too good, so he wanted to hire someone to play tennis with this son. So as you can tell, these jobs are as varied as the BU community and the Boston community at large. There's always so many different options to explore. So, important, getting paid once you get a job. All jobs are listed at the Massachusetts minimum wage of $12 an hour or higher. On-campus part-time jobs are usually start between $12 and $15 an hour, and quick jobs average between $14 and $17 an hour. Usually quick jobs are jobs, again, that will last either from 1 day to a month, and you are usually paid in cash by the person that hires you. If you work on campus, we use direct deposit, which you can sign up for online, again, on the student link. You can use a bank account of your choice. So you can use a checking or savings, either a local bank here or your local bank at home. There are a couple of things that you will need to do in order to begin working here at BU. One of the most important forms that you will have to fill out per federal regulations before you can begin working at Boston University is a form called I-9. This form essentially establishes your eligibility to work in the United States. What you want to do is bring identification with you to orientation, or if not, the beginning of the fall semester, and they can go ahead and help you fill out the I-9. The federal government is pretty specific in regards to what identification is needed in order to fill out the I-9. So it needs to be either an unexpired passport, a social security card, or a birth certificate. If you have an unexpired passport, that's all you need to bring. If you have a birth certificate or a social security card, however, we would also need another form of identification. So that would either be a driver's license, but we'll also go ahead and take a BU ID as well if you don't have a driver's license. Section 1 of the I-9 can be filled out at home. Section 2 needs to be filled out in person, either with us at student employment or with a supervisor. And just so you know, we cannot accept copies. All of this identification per federal regulation has to be the real thing that we can hold in our hands. So once you get that all set, then you're ready to work. So the next question I'm sure that you're having is, and parents maybe too, is should I work? This is probably one of the most common questions that we get. And working, and at the end of the day, it is your choice whether or not you want to work while you're going to school. It is challenging, no doubt about it. But there are some short and long-term benefits. Short-term, again, like David said, walking around money. You don't have to be calling home every week, which I'm sure some people might appreciate, asking for $20. Some long-term benefits, though, have been it's made their experience here at BU that much more enriching. Some feedback from students include, and I'm just going to read a couple of quotes here, I really appreciate that my job relates to my major and my future career goals. Thanks to this job, I learned valuable skills that I would not have been able to learn in the classroom. And another student wrote, I'm really satisfied with my job, and my job has given me a sort of place of comfort where I can go and talk to my supervisors and coworkers about not just the job, but also current events, school, and things we have in common. So you can see there are both short and long-term benefits to working on campus. So, again, the extra income will come in handy, spending money. It also will help you with other life skills such as organizing your time, gaining transferable resume building skills. It's a great way to meet people, both people who work here at BU and other student workers, and it helps you acclimate and become an active part of the BU community. So, how will you fit a job into your busy schedule? Excellent question. Thank you, Kevin. But I'm sure you're asking it as well. We have a lot of work options that will help make this part a lot easier. So we have part-time jobs, both on and off campus, and we recommend that first-year students work about 8 to 10 hours per week. Supervisors know that school comes first and will be very flexible when it comes to scheduling. Also, jobs are out there to fit any schedule, whether that be weekends, evenings, nights. There will be a job out there for you to go ahead and find that will be able to fit your schedule. So, those are the basics on how to go ahead and find a job. If you have any questions at all, you can email us or call us at the number, I think that was in the previous slide. But now I'll turn it over, I think, to Smart Money and David.
Okay. So we got one more section of formal presentation, then we'll start taking your questions and try and hook you up with some good answers. I see questions are coming in, so that's a good sign. So Smart Money 101 is our financial wellness program, and that means that we focus on various ways of helping students figure out how best to manage their money. One of the fun things about financial wellness and helping students with these kinds of things is that almost anyone can learn how to manage their money better. So there's always something to learn. In doing this program, we learn something every day. So this is sort of a list of the kind of topics that we work with and approach. We do that through workshops throughout the semester. Sometimes we co-sponsor them with student organizations and other entities on campus, so that we have small groups that are already established that we're interacting with. It gives students a chance to learn things in a small group setting, to learn things from us, and to learn things from each other. A good time can be had by all. And we also have a cash course, which is available on our Smart Money 101 website, and it has an enormous amount of resources for students. Some of those budgeting templates that I talked about, but also short videos on particularly focused topics like, how credit scores work and, how to build credit while you're in school and after. So a whole host of resources there. You can actually create an account there and work yourself through some of the lessons that are available on the Cash Course website. And we have a Twitter account, Smart Money 101, so we post tips and topical things of interest related to money management there and encourage students to follow us, so check that out as well. And that concludes the formal comments. Now we have questions. So, pink. We have a color scheme.
I'm colorblind. So
All right. wants to go first? We can go this way.
Yeah, I can go first. So I have a question. Where do I go to fill out the I-9 form? Excellent question. So I might have brushed over that pretty quickly, but there are two parts to the I-9 form. The first can be done online. That is through the student link that you can do yourself at home before you come to campus or when you come to campus. The second part, where we need to see that real identification, needs to be done here. So that can either be done again at your supervisors once you go ahead and get hired, or it can be done at Student Employment Services. I hope that answers your question.
Okay, a financial aid question. Can I still appeal for more financial aid? The answer, yes. You can appeal really at any time throughout the year. We do have appeal priority deadlines. So the one for freshmen has passed, and so the bulk of those have been reviewed, and the bulk of the resources that are dedicated to that have been gone through. That being said, we always want to know what issues students and families might be challenged by, and it gives us an opportunity to give you the best advice at the time, if only that, and it may be how to plan for the next semester, and maybe to apply or to appeal for a later term or not. But certainly write to us, let us know. There is a page on our website for appeal reconsideration. So before you get started, I'd encourage you to read through that, because it also includes a Q&A list at the end, which may answer some of the specific questions you have about the appeal process and what may or may not be available. But it also gives some procedural information on what we might need to to consider your request, and encourage you to do that.
Okay, great. So I've had a few questions about the student health insurance plan, so now is a good time to bring that up. So one of the questions is health insurance for the semester or the year? So it's an annual charge that state of Massachusetts requires students studying here to be covered by student health insurance plan that is comparable with the Affordable Care Act. So it's charged once per year. And in fact, today we did an email notifying students that they are charged the insurance, and that there is an opportunity to waive if they have coverage by another plan that is comparable to our student health plan. So to find out if your plan is comparable, you can do two things. Number one, look at the details of the BU plan, which is available on the Student Health Services website, and their website is bu.edu/SHS for Student Health Services, and then /SHIP, like a boat, SHIP, for Student Health Insurance Plan. And that information is in the email also. So you want to look at what the BU plan covers. And then you may need the student or the parent, if you want to waive the BU plan and you're not sure if your plan is considered comparable, you need to call your insurance plan and ask, do they have providers in Boston, is the big question. If you have an HMO, for instance, in California, Kaiser Permanente is very popular. But my understanding is there's an HMO and the providers are all based in California. So students studying in Massachusetts have to have a plan where they can receive non-emergency care in the Boston area. And this is covered if you decide you do want to waive, you have to answer some questions about your plan, and that's one of the questions. So look at the details of the BU plan, find out what it covers, and we encourage you that in some cases you may be pleasantly surprised about the coverage and may wish to retain the BU plan and not waive your plan. BU offers worldwide coverage, and it's for 12 months. So even when the summer comes next summer, our plan continues through August, I believe it's August 14th, and then the new plan year will start in August 15th of 2020. And how can students waive the insurance? So if students are 18 or over, they can go to their student link and click on medical insurance and do their waiver. Students under 18, they can go on the student link and they will have the opportunity to download a form that their parent or guardian can fill out and complete the waiver for them. Waivers have to be done annually along with them. as we charge annually, and then students can need to waive annually. Situations may change from year to year.
Okay. This is a good one. How easy is it to find jobs? The short answer is we strive to make it as easy as possible for you. If you go back to all of the options that are given in regards to our part-time jobs, our quick jobs, jobs specifically for federal work-study students, jobs that are both on and off campus, we make sure that we have a huge variety of jobs that you can go ahead and take advantage of. If you are having difficulty looking for finding a job, we'll be more than happy to help you out. Email us, come on into our office. We can give you some resume building tips. We can also go ahead and give you interview viewing tips as well. That is also stuff that is also on our website. But the short answer is, it's like finding a job in the real world. You want to go ahead and pick what's best for you. But again, we go ahead and try to make it as easy as possible for you by giving you the widest array of choices possible.
There's so many questions.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. I'm having fun reading the questions. Because I think financial assistance still needs documents. How can I find out what I still need to submit? This sounds like this person has a tentative financial aid award, and they're trying to navigate our process of confirming those tentative awards so that they're final. And to do that, there are documents that we need to review so that we can compare, say, tax return documents against the information that you and your family reported on the profile and or the FAFSA applications. The answer to that, like many of the answers that we've given already, is the student link. The student link will show you what documents we might have be requiring from you and still need from you, and are specific to you. More information about those particular documents is listed on our website. The financial assistance website, bu.edu/FINAID, FINAID. And on the homepage, in the middle of the homepage to the left, you'll see an item that says federal verification and BU confirmation. So click there and click through to the confirmation page, and we'll give you a little more information about the confirmation process and what documents and how you submit them and so forth.
Great. So I've had some questions about how methods you can pay. So one question, can we use a credit card to make payments? So credit card payments can't be used for the tuition fees of full-time students. Just in brief, the reason for that is because the state of Massachusetts does not allow us to pass on the convenience fee, and there's a sort of an unpredictable cost with convenience fees. So Boston University does not accept full-time tuition payments of tuition for full-time students by credit card. We also do not accept direct payments by PayPal. I'm not sure if PayPal has something where they would send a check. I guess that's not what PayPal is. But no, we accept payment with our electronic payment is a tool where you would put in a U.S. bank account number, and the other method of payment would be paper check. There are some credit card companies that will make a check for you, but you would want to find out and confirm what fees they charge. But if the issue is that you want to charge it to your credit card, sometimes you can have them send a paper check to Boston University. Again, they may charge you some sort of percentage fee on and consider it a cash advance usually. 529 plans. Yes, fees can be paid by 529 plans, and how you do that would be to contact your 529 plan institution, and they will tell you how to go about redemption. Usually the 529 plans send a paper check to Boston University. So your plan will want to know the student and the Boston University address, which is available on our website. And a few 529 plans, a few states, such as Florida prepaid tuition plans, some of them actually do send us an electronic roster, and we work with that state to make sure we get the funds we need. But in general, you just have to contact them and they will send BU a paper check.
Excellent. Okay. I have a question. When is the student job fair? I'm assuming you're talking about the job fair that's going to happen during the series of orientations that are taking place. I think we had our first two a couple weeks ago. Those job fairs are specifically for students who have a work-study award. Again, they will be taking place, I think it's the last day of every orientation, which is a Friday. There'll be a room with tons of departments from BU looking for work-study students, as well as other seminars as well, how to fill out your I-9 again, some of the information I touched on here. So that will be that job fair per se. I don't think there is a job fair, as far as I know, on our end in student employment where it comes to non-federal work-study jobs. Again, that's something that we can be there for you to help you out in regards to looking for that job. Sometimes people get confused, career development office and student employment office. Both do a great job in trying to help students find jobs. We're more focused, or all focused, on jobs that are here on campus while a student is a full-time or part-time registered student, where career development is going forward. So that's kind of the distinction between those two. So the job fair, the next job fair is this Friday, in our third orientation, I think. Yeah, our third orientation. And you can come on in and ask us any questions, whether you have work study or you don't.
Cool. This is an easy question. It feels like it's a plant. Are the scholarships and grants renewable after the first year? So at BU, we have something a little bit unique. It's called the BU Scholarship Assurance, which means that the scholarship aid, the BU scholarship and grant aid that you're offered from the university in your first year renews automatically for each of your succeeding years, as long as your student is making satisfactory academic progress. Though that amount will never be less. The rationale from our perspective is that, you've heard me say this, we really want students and families to plan out the cost over the full 4 years and not to kind of work on it semester by semester or year to year. And so by giving the assurance that you know what that grant is going to be, what that scholarship is going to be from one year to the next, hopefully that helps you plan a little better. And the awards that fall under the scholarship assurance, on your award notification, you'll see those particular line awards. The title of the award starts with a plus sign, and that denotes that it is covered under the BU Scholarship Assurance. And you can find out more information about the scholarship assurance on, again, our website. Under Aid Basics, one of the tabs there lists the scholarship assurance. That's also where the planning page is, but from the home page, it's the tab to the far left.
Okay, I have a few questions about the payment plan, and they're excellent questions. Where is the payment plan link, and how do I know it's legitimate? That's a great question. So the payment plan, you have to log in and authenticate students on their student link, or if the students have given ShareLink viewers access, then ShareLink viewers can set up a payment plan. So you have to log in with your BU login and Kerberos password. You will go to the student link to Money Matters, which is a green tab, and under that, student account inquiry. That will bring up, first of all, a summary of the student account. And above that, there are some links. And one is make a payment and one is payment plan. So when you click there, that is a secure login to Nelnet Campus Commerce. And actually, you will be presented with a pop-up dialog box telling you you're about to leave the BU site and go to the Nelnet site, and you have to click OK to do that. Then when you get to Nelnet, you'll have the enrollment details about the payment plan. And are there additional charges with monthly payment plan? Is it only $35? There is only a $35 enrollment fee for the payment plan. There is no interest charge, because it is really what they used to call a budget plan. You're paying ahead of time mostly. You're making payments May through September instead of a lump sum payment in August. So it's your money. There's no money that is being forwarded to BU if you aren't making those payments. Can I use a payment plan for a portion of the bill and pay the rest by the deadline? Yes. You can do a payment plan, and in fact, we would encourage that because you can do a payment plan and a credit-based loan and a lump sum payment. I know families have multiple people maybe helping to pay, and I have a question here. If a grandparent wants to help with a check, can they send it to BU or give it to the student? Yes. The grandparent can send it to BU, or they can give it to the student.
That's a PayPal.
Yeah, yeah.
The old school
The
PayPal.
PayPal.
You've got a pal
The
who's willing to
grandparent.
pay.
So you can use any of these options. And when I said we recommend it because a credit-based loan is probably going to be your most expensive strategy because you're going to pay interest and you'll be paying it over time. Payment plan is only the $35 enrollment fee, so you'd want to schedule a payment plan for whatever you have in current income to pay out, but maybe not today, and what you have today, you pay with your lump sum payment in August. And I don't know if you want to talk about, do you have a budget worksheet?
Yeah, that was a good segue into that. On the financial assistance website, in the credit-based loan section, which there's another question about how do I find the loan section again, so maybe I'll answer that one as we go along. From the home page, if you click on types of aid along the top bar, there's loans, then within loans there's credit-based loans. And within that section, there are loan calculators. One of them is set up to help you kind of toggle between figuring out what is to your advantage, how much of what I need to pay should I put on a payment plan where the monthly payment is going to be higher, but your cost of financing is going to be just $35, or the credit-based loan, where the cost of financing is going to be higher depending on the interest that you're getting and how long the term is, but you're going to be able to access a much larger sum of money with a much smaller monthly payment. So going back and forth and finding just the right mix can be a little daunting on paper and pen, but doing it with a calculator makes that a little bit easier to figure out where makes sense and still to stay within, well, this is how much money per month I have to devote to this. So how to maximize your use of what resources you have.
If I could say one more, steal from you just
go
because
ahead.
it kind of finished. The only restriction is only one individual can have, there can only be one payment plan per student. So that's, either the student can set up the plan or the ShareLink viewer. And I have a question why I wanted to steal some time. If a co-parent and another parent are both paying 50%, is there a way to separate it on ShareLink? So the student can set up as many individuals as they want to be ShareLink viewers. Everybody will go in through their own login. You will view the student account. The way the student account looks, you will just see a word payment and the source of a payment, maybe 529 plan or the type of loan and the dollar amount. No one can view who paid it. So everybody who can view the student account can see all of the transactions on the student account, but they just have sort of basic details about payment and the dollar. Thank you, Kevin.
Oh yeah, that's no problem. I have a question here, a good one. Can students find a job before school starts or once they arrive? And the answer is yes, both questions. You can go ahead and take advantage of our job fairs if you have federal work study. And hopefully you could get hired right there on the spot. A lot of departments within the university do that. The other thing you can do is start looking at the job boards. I think fall job postings will come out sometime within August. I may be mistaken about that, but you can also start looking at that job board, the part-time job listings, the quick job listings. If you're not able to make it to orientation, we do have, again, all of that information in regards to jobs for both on and off campus. And I think going along with that, there was another question. How can I find a job if I didn't go to the job fair during orientation? It's going to be all of those things that I just spoke about earlier, using our website, using all the job board listings, using people, us in student employment to say, hey, how do I go about it? Because we know it can be really daunting. So whether you make it to orientation or not, we're here to help you go ahead and find a job. Thanks.
This is a question I can answer with a visual aid, so
Ooh.
that's nice. Kind of cool. How long does the process of applying for a loan take? You want to give yourself plenty of time. Now may be research mode, but you're going to be quickly turning over to actually making applications. We usually recommend 30 to 60 days or so before the billing due date, which is early August 6th, so it's not too early. One of the things that we do have to answer just that question, you may remember receiving this in the mail in early April, and if you have it, you might want to pull it out. If you can't find it, the PDF of this is on our website, but one of the things we list here, and there's also a page on the website, is a timeline that gives you information about what action steps you'll need to take to apply for a credit-based loan and when you should take them, either in relation to the payment, the semester payment date, or the start of the semester. So that can maybe help answer the question asked as to when do you start applying, but also the particular tick points along the way of when do I start researching, when do I apply, when do funds get dispersed, and that sort of thing.
Great. Okay. Now these questions are about tuition fees, what's on the bill, and how do I deal with the individual items. So what's included on the bill? So the university will directly bill you for tuition, mandatory fees, a sports pass, which I'll speak about in a second, the student health insurance plan, which is listed as medical insurance, and room and dining plan. We don't bill for books, probably is the biggest thing.
That's why she gets a work study job,
Okay.
or a job, period.
Do we have to waive the insurance every year? Yes. It's an annual charge, and the state actually requires that students, if they are going to take advantage of waiving, that has to be submitted every year. Can I waive other fees, like the sports pass? So the only non-mandatory item other than the insurance is the sports pass. So the sports pass is automatically billed to all full-time students, and what it gives you is access to tickets to view BU sports games, like hockey, basketball. Yeah, yay! And but if the student doesn't want to purchase the sports pass is charged once per year in the fall. If you don't want to purchase it, you can decline it. You just have to go to your student link and click on sports pass and say you want to decline it, and there'll be some information about, like, are you sure you don't want to be part of the excitement of the BU, go BU, go Terriers. And that's done once per year. And
but if you don't have a pass, you can still go to a particular game and pay.
You can go to a game and pay, and you know what? Where my train of thought was, we have the FitRec Center, so the sports pass is not, full-time students have FitRec privileges for the FitRec. So the sports pass has to do with going as a spectator to view some games and be part of the fan nation.
Oh, you okay?
Yeah, you're on.
So, okay, here's a good question, a good proactive question. Do I fill out the I-9 once? Can I do it at orientation even if I don't want to work the first semester? The answer is yes, and that's a great question. So once you fill out the I-9, you can go ahead and do the first part again online. The second part, if you don't have a job, you can bring in that identification, and it is on the I-9 website in case you need to refresh yourself in regards to that, to student employment. We'll put it on file for you. It's good for the entire amount of time that you're here at BU. So you can definitely go ahead and do that before you go ahead and find a position. And sometimes I think it's a good thing because it's one less thing to worry about, and then you can just focus on the job.
Okay. I have a twofer because these are kind of related. One is my work study only for the fall? And the other is, can I use my money from my job to pay tuition? Is my work study only for the fall? No. Well, it can be, but typically on awards that a student is coming for the fall and the spring, the award notice you're looking at will list the full amount in the fall and the full amount as a total, but nothing for the spring. And that really only is to indicate that you can use the money throughout the course of the year. So it is a fall and spring award. It's not just for the fall. Typically, if you had a $2,000 reward, you'd earn roughly $1,000 in the fall and $1,000 in the spring, and that's the way your work schedule will try to be adjusted. But it's not a hard and fast. If you earn, $900 in the fall, you can still earn, the $1,100 in the spring, or vice versa. It's not going to, have to come out to the dollar. But it is fall and spring, and that's not an issue. Can I use my money from my job to pay tuition? This is like sort of a yes and no, but more no than a yes. You are paid if it's work study on a weekly basis. If it's a non-work study job, you're paid on a weekly basis as well. So regardless, so that's going to happen when you start school. Obviously, your tuition bill for the fall is due before you start school. So the logistics of the cash flow suggest that you can't, because you're not going to have that money in hand at the time the bill is due. That being said, students use the money that they earn in their jobs through the course of the semester for some of the out-of-pocket walking around money expenses that we talked about, but often students will set aside a piece of that to pay for their books for this upcoming semester. In theory, you could use some of that money that you set aside for tuition for the next semester, but typically it's used for out-of-pocket expenses during the course of the semester, and sometimes a little bit is, swirled away to use for, the cash flow that they'll need to buy books and other supplies for the semester, but usually not tuition, just because of the timing and because of the amount of money. That's not enough to make that big a dent in tuition, frankly.
And I think sometimes, and I don't know if this happens at other universities, if you do work on campus or off campus, especially on campus, they'll let you use that work-study money to go directly to pay for your tuition or your outstanding balance. At BU, that's just not the case. So.
I have a few. We're closing in our time. I'm going to do a quick lightning round. Potpourri. Is ShareLink per semester? Good answer. No, it's not. ShareLink, which allows other individual students, can allow people access to view their bill, and consent to disclosure, which allows someone to call or email us and talk about the bill. Those can be set up once by the student. The student can rescind it if they no longer want the person to have access, but they don't have to do it every semester. Is August 6th the deadline for transfer students too? Yes, August 6th is the payment deadline we publish for the fall semester for all students. But when you're a first semester student, whether you're an incoming freshman or transfer, usually after the payment deadline passes, there would be a late fee. So we don't charge a late fee during your first semester. But your real deadline you want to think about is when you're moving to campus. If you're an on-campus resident, your bill has to be resolved, either paid or you have to be enrolled in the payment plan for enough funds to cover the bill, so that when you come to move in, you can be cleared to move into your residence. And this is a real potpourri question. Is there a bank or credit union students should use? So there are many major banks located near campus, and maybe work study, you might have a better answer.
The answer is whichever bank is going to be the most comfortable for you. So it could be the bank, your hometown bank, that you have a savings account and checking account in now. You might want to go ahead and start fresh and open up a bank account here in Boston. It really depends on you.
Okay. Have a lightning round, and before I forget my lightning round questions, I should remind you, you may have been told in one of the emails, but they'll send you an email shortly that will provide a link to the recording of this. So if you're a student and your parents aren't with you and you'd like for them to see it, you'll get a link so they can see it, or vice versa, so that you can do that. But I have a few questions about loans that I want to try and squeeze in. If we don't take the loan in the first semester, can we apply for future semesters? Yes, you can. Short answer. Is a student or a parent ever denied a loan? We call them credit-based loans because they're based on the credit capacity of the borrower. So sometimes loans can be denied if they don't pass whatever credit criteria is established by that particular lender, or they can be approved. But what I mentioned about being tiered, you may get a different interest rate depending on the strength of the credit of the borrower. And is there someone specific I should talk to about loans? Can you give advice on loans? Advice on loans we can give. There's a lot of advice on the website, but if you call or email us, we're happy to do that. The distinction being, we're happy to give advice. We don't recommend one product over the other. But hopefully we give you the tools and advice to help you figure out which loan is best for you. But really that's your decision, not ours, partly because one size doesn't fit all. And what might be a good loan for me might not be a good loan for you because of what my priorities are versus what your priorities are in our different situations. So we're done. We're getting the hook. Thank you again for joining us. Wait for that email for the link, and thank you for being part of our presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.